name is HowardJosepher. I'm the founder and president of Exponents, a community-based organization in New York City, helping people with drug use issues, HIV/AIDS, and people returning to society from prison. I've been doing this now for over 21 years and actually came into this work by overcoming my own addiction to heroin some time ago, and that I feel that the opportunity that I took advantage of many years ago is the opportunity I want to make sure that other people have. He is talking the talk, and it's good talk, and it's much more enlightening what we've been doing. But until we see the current drug czar and the Obama administration walking the walk, then we haven't done anything differently. Understanding addiction as a health issue means that drug-taking behavior is a form of self-medication. And the important thing is to understand what is it that people are medicating. To keep it simple, we see that people are medicating their pain, their feelings. Basically, in some ways, they're medicating depression. And so that to work with people who have this condition, you have to understand it that depression does come and go, and that relapse will be a part of the addiction treatment process, and that we have to approach it as a chronic health condition. And approaching it as a chronic health condition means we'll be treating addiction much like we treat diabetes, asthma, or hypertension, and that there will be some steps forward as some steps backwards, but we might hopefully be treating addiction in a way that we don't punish people for their step backwards. In New York, I work with people who are often on parole and probation. And while the drug czar is saying we should treat addiction as a chronic condition, in New York, if you're on parole and probation and you get high, you're going to go back to prison. So it's only in treatment of addiction do we expect a perfect outcome, a perfect resolution. So we're still treating it as an acute condition, not as a chronic one. We started at the height of the AIDS epidemic. I was asked to help get one of the first HIV initiatives off the ground in New York City for injecting drug users. It was a small research and demonstration grant. And we understood that if we were going to ask the addicts coming into our program, we were going to say we wanted to teach them about the prevention of spreading AIDS. We wanted to teach people how to take care of themselves if they had the virus. We wanted to help them prevent relapses. But we understood we could not tell people, you've got to be clean, you've got to get off drugs before we will help you. So we created a harm reduction approach even before we knew there was such a thing as harm reduction. The other thing that we did that I believe has made us successful is that we looked around and said, well, where is successful outreach happening around this epidemic? And we saw in the gay community in New York City an incredible education effort being made by the gays with one another. Remember, in those days, if you wanted to know about HIV, you didn't go to the doctors. You didn't go to the medical textbooks because there wasn't anything in them. You went to people living with the virus. And in the gays doing their outreach with one another, you saw that they did it without judgment. And so we incorporated this non-judgmental approach into our work. Let me tell you, the people coming into your program, this is inner city hardcore drug users, that you meet them where they're at without judgment and without preaching to them, and they become very receptive and amenable to the services that you have to offer. We started in a church basement on the Lower East Side of Manhattan with 7 men out of prison. And here we are 21 years later, and this program, that's an 8-week, 24-class program, has over 9,000 graduates. Even more significant is that every single one of them has attended 21 of 24 classes on a completely voluntary basis. So it goes against the commonly held belief that addicts don't want help, that they don't want treatment, you got to put a gun to their head to motivate them. That's a lot of crap. You know, if you change the way you approach people, and you do it in a respectful manner, in a manner that, you know, meets people where they're at, and you don't preach to them, I find people are very receptive to us. You could learn more about us, Exponents, on our website, www.exponents.org, and you will find the message of hope, and you will see many individuals who have overcome their own addiction, people like myself, who thought that they could never change, they could never have a better life. But if you take that energy, that you focus on getting high, and you take that energy and you're able to shift that focus, you're a powerful person. And just as you're powerful when you're getting high, because how many people actually go to bed at night without any money, without any dope, and somehow they get up the next day, they find a way to get high? That's a kind of a power. And you could shift that power, and you could use it to make a better life for yourself. You got to find people who've done it before. You know, and just do your research, look around, don't give up.
Law enforcement against prohibition. These men and women have served in the trenches of the drug war as prosecutors, judges, cops, guards, and wardens. They have seen firsthand the utter futility of our policy and now work together to end drug prohibition. Please visit leap.cc.